Namaste and greetings. Hello and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts, a Centers for Spiritual Living teaching center. I am Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, the founding minister and the spiritual director. If you have questions about what is a teaching center, who is Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson, what is Centers for Spiritual Living, what is metaphysical spirituality, feel free to send an email to spirituallyintegratederts@gmail.com. The website with tons of information will be available soon. In the meantime, feel free to follow us, to join us, to subscribe via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our YouTube channel. For more information, as I said, send an email. Look for us. Join us. I look forward to chatting with you more very soon. Much love, appreciation, and all of that. Blessings. Hello and welcome. So, there will not be a after service Zoom today. The next time we will gather in our Zoom fellowship hall will be next week, March 19th. There will also not be one on the 26th because it's the day after my birthday and I am sure I will be gallivanting across the galaxies. So for this month, March, our next and the only other one this month will be on the 19th. If you don't already have the Zoom link, send an email to Spiritually Integrated Arts and let us know so we can send you the Zoom link so you can join in. Thus far, we have had some pretty eye-opening, revelatory, connecting, bonding kinds of conversations and discussions. Woo, doggy. Yes, yes, yes. So feel free to join us. Now, if you are ready, dun, 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 let us jump in. As we said, this month, the theme is cultivating authenticity. And today specifically, we are talking about dropping the masks and the bushel baskets. More about that in a minute. But it's about getting rid of those things. Now, let us understand and be aware that there are various kinds of celebrations where we wear masks for fun. And we wear masks to be safe. You go into an ER or an OR and there's a mask to be worn for safety purposes. You go into a burning building and a fire person wears a mask, an oxygen mask. Like, we understand this. However, there are times that we wear masks and we hide behind masks because we are afraid to be open. We are afraid to be seen. We are afraid to be transparent. We are afraid to be vulnerable. So we wear the mask in order to protect ourselves. However, if we wear a mask for too long, and it doesn't matter what the mask is, it could be Halloween. If I wear the mask for too long, it is no longer effective. It is no longer safe. It is no longer serving the purpose that I thought it was serving. It's actually doing more harm than good. And this idea of vulnerability, when we drop the mask, when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we are actually stepping into, we are owning our divine power. And we are letting our lights, we are letting it shine in the world, which makes the world a better place. So being vulnerable not only benefits us individually, it benefits the collective. So as I said, there are all kinds of reasons that we wear masks. We wear them for ceremonies. We wear them for celebrations. We wear them for characters that we are portraying or embodying. We wear them for safety. There are all kinds of reasons to wear a mask. Breathe. Because it's important to understand that the masks we're talking about today are not those. The greatest battle that we face as human beings is the battle to protect our true selves from the self the world wants us to become. Breathe. See, there are these powers, parents, teachers, religious leaders. There are all kinds of folks, the collective consciousness that want us to become what they want us to become. Right now, there are politicians and other conservative individuals who are talking about it is time to eradicate transgenderism, to completely eradicate the transgender individual. What? It is important to understand that that kind of rhetoric borderlines, it is right on the line of genocide. Breathe. Because there is this group that wants us to become something. And the greatest battle, as E.E. Cummings says, the greatest battle that we as humans face is the battle to say no to that. The battle to say yes to our divine expression, to say yes to our true power. That is what we are here to do, to stand up, no matter what that is doing, to have the audacity, the unapologetic power, the principled truth, to stand in who and what we are, to shine our light so brightly that the darkness of that has no choice but to fade away. Breathe. Because this is what we're called into. This is why we are willing to cultivate authenticity. Because our failure to do so gives them the opportunity. Is that what we desire? Is that what creates a world that works for all? Our authenticity, our cultivation of authenticity, our willingness and active vulnerability shifts the consciousness. It educates the masses so that that paradigm, that consciousness fades into obscurity and it fades into extinction in the same way that the Tyrannosaurus Rex has faded into extinction. We will then go to museums and read about and see the skeletal systems of those paradigms and that consciousness. But that is no longer the consciousness or the paradigm by which we as a species live. Breathe. Because in order to cultivate authenticity and vulnerability, we have to even recognize that we're wearing a mask. Do we know when we're wearing a mask? Do we know when it's okay to wear a mask? Do I know when this celebration, if I don't know when Mardi Gras is and I throw on my Mardi Gras gear, there are certain places where people are going to look at me like, what's going on? Wait a minute, did we miss a memo or something? What is going on? Am I able to identify the most effective, the right time, the right place, the right reason to wear a mask versus it is always a good time. It is always the right time. It is always the best time to be your authentic, divine, loving, and powerful self, no matter what's going on in the world. Jesus in the Gospel of Thomas says, "For no one lights a lamp to put it under a bushel or to put it in some hidden place, but they set it on a lampstand, that all who go in and all who come out may see its light." What are you doing with your light? Are you hiding your light? Are you putting it under a bushel, hiding it under a basket, keeping it locked away in some closet where the light cannot be visible? Or are you placing it so powerfully, so boldly where all can see? Your life is likened unto not just a lamp on a lampstand. Your light is likened unto a lighthouse, high up where ships far and wide are guided by that light. Your light so brightly shines high that people from far away, deep down in the valleys of hatred and fear, animosity and separation, are able to see your light and find their way to safe harbor by following your light. And once they reach it, they realize, I have traversed the waves of and the rocks of. And now, because I am at a place where there is safety, I am able to shed the fears and the consciousness of lack, scarcity, and separation. I am able to release the consciousness of bigotry and racism and homophobia. I have found where I belong, and your light helped lead them there. Your light helped them find the light of their own being, where they felt the freedom, where they felt the call to be their own truest and most authentic individual expression of the divine. So which one are you going to be? Which one are you going to choose today? Hide your light or shine your light? Dr. Holmes says, there is something which waits only for our recognition to spring into being, bringing with it all the power in the universe. Now, think about this for a second. Suppose you've never heard of electricity, and you walk into a house and you see these things. They're lamps, but you don't know what they're for. You think it's just a fancy vase. And then nighttime comes and it's dark and you're sitting in the dark and you're like, oh. And then a neighbor comes over to introduce themselves and they're like, hey, neighbor, nice to meet you. Why are you sitting in the dark? Because it's nighttime? No, I mean, like, how come you don't, turn your lamps on? How come I don't do what? Yeah, I mean, look, oh, it's not even plugged in. And then the neighbor plugs the lamp in, click, turns it on. Let there be light. There is something which waits only for our recognition. It's already there. The electricity was already there, just didn't know how to plug in, just didn't know how to tune in, just didn't know how to turn it on, but it was there. There is something which awaits our recognition so that it may spring into being, and bringing with it all of the power that exists in the universe, because it and the universe are one. There is no separation between us and it. There is only it as us. But see, it does not spring forth. It does spring forth, but to the degree that we are conscious of it. So if I am conscious of it to the degree of there is only darkness, oh goodness, it is dark, then it springs forth just that much to be darkness. And yet it has the full expanse of enough electricity to light this entire house, enough electricity to turn on the MP3 players and the stereos and the televisions, and enough electricity, not just for this house, but for every house on the block, and not just every house on the block, but every house in the city. There is enough electricity because the electricity is God. Lightning doesn't say, hey, Bob, we're supposed to be doing thunderstorm today, but I ain't got enough electricity to kaboom. What? You didn't pay the bill? No. Oh man. What are we gonna do? Well, hey guys, it doesn't matter if he paid the bill or not. There isn't enough electricity, period. You mean we ran out of We ran out? We ran out. You don't run out. You can't run out of God. You can't run out of the ways that God expresses. You can't run out of love. You can't run out of creativity. You can't run out of power. You can't run out of peace. You can't run out of compassion. You cannot run out of the power that you are as the universe. You can't do it. And if you were to run all cylinders, firing at 1,000 every day, all day, every moment, every breath, every thought, every word, there would still be enough for the rest of eternity. You can't run out of God. But are you willing to recognize that divine so that it may spring forth and bring with it the fullness of itself into your life, into your word, into your interactions with others? Are you willing to recognize the truth of your being? It's already there. Breathe. It's already there. Now, do you by any chance know, other than the little boy who's sculpting, do you know the artist who sculpted these other works of art? Dun, 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 dun. Well, if you didn't know, it was Michelangelo, whom Emilio Zocchi carved here, young Michelangelo carving. Now, Michelangelo, the artist, is known for saying, the sculpture is already complete within the marble block before I start my work. It is already there. I just have to chisel away the superfluous material. All that is not the sculpture, I chip away. I saw the angel in the marble and I carved it until I set the angel free. It's already there. The divine is already there. And we are asked to chip away the superfluous material, chip away the self-doubt, chip away the lack and scarcity consciousness, chip away so that the only thing that remains is the truth of our being, the divine, the spiritual magnificence. Chip away, remove everything that is not life affirming, remove everything that is hiding, everything that is shielding, everything that is covering and suppressing the truth of your being. Remove all of that. And what we find is the truth of who we are, which has always been there, covered by the words of our parents, covered by the words of the collective consciousness, covered by the domesticated, indoctrinated words of this is what a man is supposed to be. Men don't cry. Big boys don't cry. Covered by the words that say if someone hits you, you hit them back. If they get a stick, you get a knife. If they get a knife, you get a gun. Covering over all of these ideas. And we shed all of that. Boys wear blue, girls wear pink. There is this dichotomy. There is this duality of gender. There is strip away all of that nonsensical stuff so that only the truth remains. Chip away, chip away, chip away. And that which is the truth, the angel, that which is the truth, the divine, that which is the truth, our authentic selves are all that remain, set free now with the full power of the universe, living, moving, and having its beingness in this container, this individualized expression that is it. No longer held down or bound by the fears, the doubts, the guilt, the shame, the pre-programmed whatever that is. No longer held by that. Now set free. Breathe. Dr. Holmes says, any sense of guilt that we have, any burden of condemnation that we entertain, or any mental state that weighs us down hinders us from more fully experiencing the nature of our spiritual reality. Any sense of guilt, non-life affirming, any sense of shame, any burdens of condemnation that we allow ourselves to entertain. What is this? Is this condemnation? Is it mine? Why are you entertaining that? Why are you even engaging in that? Any of the mental states that weigh us down, fear, self-loathing, any of that hinders us. It blocks our ability to more fully experience the nature of the divine, which is our spiritual reality, living, moving, and having its beingness as us. If we recognize this, then we can choose differently. We can choose right here and right now. I will no longer be condemned. I will no longer feel guilt, shame. I will no longer allow myself to be weighed down or shackled to whatever. I will not, because now that I know the difference, I will remove what needs to be removed. I will chisel away what needs to be chiseled away. I will relinquish and sacrifice and surrender whatever in order to live my highest and best out loud, in order to live my true self out loud, in order to be what I am out loud. Breathe. Because whatever that is, and however it shows up, you're stupid. Whatever that is, go sit in the corner. I can't believe whatever that is, you should feel guilty for that. Whatever that is, you're not enough. You're never going to be enough. Whatever that is, you know it's your fault. Whatever that is, the blame game, the shame game, whatever that is, we get to choose. I will no longer play that game. Take the cards. I'm not playing. Whatever this is, you might as well box it up. I'm not playing the game by your rules. I will not feel guilty for that. I will not feel shame for that. I will not sit in a corner because that which I am, okay, so I added 2 + 2 = 9. That does not make me stupid. It gives me the opportunity to learn and practice more effective math skills, but it does not make me stupid. No, I will not wear your scarlet letter saying that because I am LGBTQ, because I am Black, because I am a woman, because I am this, because I am that. I will not wear your letter of shame. I will not, because what I am is the divine incarnating itself. And you who want to blame me, you who want to guilt me, you who want to condition me, you don't even realize that the very same tools you are using to oppress me, you are already oppressed and enslaved by. Breathe. Because in our ability to set ourselves free from the condemnation, in our ability to find the key, we are able to assist others in setting themselves free. We are able to assist them in understanding who and what they are by our own example of what it means to live free, by our own example of what it means to walk the walk. Breathe, because we get to choose. In this moment, we get to choose. How do you want to live your life? Because life is not just something to be endured, as Dr. Holmes says. It is to be lived in joy, or rather, enjoy your life in fullness without limit. Is that how you want to live your life? Is that how you choose in this moment to live your life? Or are you still waiting? Still waiting to live? Still waiting to be happy, still waiting to be loved, still waiting to be appreciated, still waiting to be paid, still waiting to breathe, still waiting to exhale, still waiting to be hugged, still waiting to be seen, still waiting, still waiting, still waiting. Are you done waiting? Because we don't have to see this thing called time based upon the collective consciousness. You have to wait until you reach a certain age to retire and then enjoy life. Wait a minute. Where exactly is that written? I mean, apparently I didn't get that memo because I don't wait. Like, wait a minute. Hold on. Is it in? It's not in there. Where is it written that I have to wait until retirement to enjoy my life? Where is it written that I have to wait until the kids grow up and they go off to school and they have graduated and they have children of their own and they have grandchildren that I can now sit back and enjoy it says who? Why do I have to wait until such amount of years before I get my watch, my retirement? No. There is only now. So rather than continue to wait, What are we invited to be right now? What are we invited to do right now? What are we invited to know right now? What are we invited to engage in right now that we may live life in the way that Dr. Holmes said in that previous slide, where we are enjoying it to its fullest, most highest expression of fulfillment now? What do we need to do? Marjorie Williams says, once you are real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand. The collective consciousness, they will see you as Black. They don't understand, and they will deem you whatever they deem you for your Blackness. They will deem you whatever they deem you for your LGBTQ-ness, your queerness, your spectacularity. They will deem you whatever because of your femininity. They will deem you whatever because of your socioeconomic status, the area of the neighborhood you live in, the side of the railroad tracks that you come from, the religion that you practice, or the spirituality that you practice. They will do whatever they do. But understand that once you are real, mask off. Once you are real, heart exposed, transparent, and vulnerable. Once you are real, I know who and what I am. You cannot be ugly. Period. Regardless of what they say doesn't matter. You can't be, because you now know who and what you are. Breathe. There's a powerful example from the film, it's also in the book, but from the film, The Color Purple. Wisdom, metaphysical wisdom from The Color Purple. In case you did not see it, for those of you who did, I'm sure you remember this. There's an element in the movie, or a time in the movie, where Suge says to Celie, "You sure is ugly." To which Celie reminds her, "Remember what you said to me before? You ugly. You sure is ugly." And then there's a later time where Mr. says at the dinner table, "You're Black. You're poor. You're ugly. You're a woman. You're nothing at all." They are going to say things. They are going to deem you to be whatever they deem you to be. But the moment you understand, the moment you allow yourself to be real, then you realize there is no need to cover. There is no need to hide. You are encouraged to let the real out. You are encouraged to let your light shine. You are encouraged to enjoy and be in joy, and be the very embodiment of what joy is. Because you are beautiful. Because you are beauty incarnating itself. Now, do you know yourself to be beautiful? Do you know yourself to be real? Do you know yourself to be powerful? Because if you don't know yourself to be, then you're going to be whatever they deem you to be. And this cultivating of authenticity is getting to the place where I understand, I recognize, I realize, and I embody the beauty that I am. I am real. I embody the joy that I am. I am real. I embody the divinity that I am. I am real. And then that realness shines. And then that realness spreads. And then a life that works for all becomes a family that works, a community that works, a city that works, a nation that works, a country that works, a world that works for all. Brene Brown offers us, because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. I'm going to come back to that imperfect for a moment. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than the level of our self-acceptance. Now, when we refer to this imperfect selves, one, know and understand that you are whole, perfect, and complete. You are whole, perfect, and complete. You are whole, and you are wholeness expressing. You are perfect, and you are perfection expressing. You are complete, and you are completeness expressing. And still, in this human incarnation, we are going to make mistakes. I'm going to burn the lasagna, imperfect self. I'm going to forget someone's birthday, imperfect self. Right now, I am preparing for surgery next month in April, and the body does what the body does, an imperfect self. And even with all of these things, I am still whole, wholeness, perfect, perfection, complete, completeness, incarnating itself. Keep that in mind. Now, our sense of belonging can never be greater. We talk about this in New Thought as well. God can only be for us or give to us or move through us or whatever to the degree of our mental equivalent. One, I am not going to belong to whatever this group is if I do not accept myself or feel that I belong to my own self. I cannot feel like I belong. I feel separate. I feel isolated. So our invitation is to love ourselves, accept ourselves, stop trying to fit in with others, stop trying to fit in, be ourselves, accept ourselves. And then we find in that authenticity, in that being who and what we truly are, we now find our soul tribe, our ohana, our community. We belong. We are of like-mindedness, and we build together, we share together, we love together, we grow together. Accept yourself. Breathe. Because part of this idea of self-acceptance is, do I know what I look like? Do I know who I am? Do I know what I am? See, growing up, I used to see, Thing, and I'm like, what does Thing look like up under that? Like without the hair, what's under the hair? We could do the same thing and ask, without the fear, what's under? Without the guilt and shame, what's under? What is the real me without all of this stuff? Now, this individual comes from a particular family, right? If you remember. And growing up in the era that I grew up, there were two very interesting families, the Addams family and the Munsters. And one of the things that, was in the theme song for the Addams family, which applies to the Munsters, they're creepy and they're kooky and they are cool AF. Now, before you, AF, before you, yes, AF. It is an absolute fact that they are creepy and they are cool and they are kooky and they are cool and that they are divine. See, what we tend to do is we think of ourselves as kooky, as odd, as weird, as strange, and we somehow make that bad. And yet, you can be different. You should be different, and you're still cool. You should be, or fine to be a little kooky or eccentric or whatever words you want to use. You need not be a carbon copy. If you remember from our talk last week, you are not meant to be a carbon copy of someone who is, the prim and proper. This is the way, and this is where the forks go, and this is where the spoon goes, and this is how you fold your napkin, and this is how you're supposed to speak, and this is how. No. You have a unique voice. The universe is speaking in, through, and as you with a unique voice, a unique way of showing up, a particular way of blending colors and dressing and singing and dancing and whatever it is that you do. And you are cool. And you are powerful. And you are precisely who and what you are meant to be as an individualized expression of the divine. That's an absolute fact. Breathe it. Accept it. Enjoy it. Enjoy you. Renee goes on to tell us, vulnerability is the birthplace of love. When you love yourself, when you are vulnerable, there is more space for love. Belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity. Vulnerability is the birthplace of all of this. It is the source of hope, the source of empathy, the source of accountability and authenticity. If we want greater clarity in our purpose or deeper and more meaningful spiritual lives, vulnerability is the path. If we want clarity in our purpose, vulnerability is the path. If we want deeper and more meaningful spiritual lives, vulnerability is the path. If we want deeper and more meaningful relationships and friendships, vulnerability is the path. If we want greater wealth and health and well-being, vulnerability is the path. Vulnerability is the path because vulnerability is the recognition that you are the divine and living that out loud, no matter what. Be your kooky, strange, weird. Oh, much like this guy. Like do what you do. Be who you are. Laugh, love, enjoy, have fun. Be vulnerable. Be transparent. Be authentic. DM Timely says, Timney says, speak your piece until you find your peace. Yeah, but I feel the need to do a Reverend Ray remix. Are you ready? Speak your piece until you find your peace. Remix. Speak your piece in order to claim your peace, to manifest your peace, to demonstrate your peace, to spread your peace. Speak it, claim it, manifest it, demonstrate it, and spread it. And then there will be peace on earth, goodwill for all. Because you had the authenticity, you were vulnerable enough to speak your heart, to share your mind. Pause, breathe. So here's our bit of Jeopardy, maybe, whatever. Do you know who this person is? If you do, type it in, type his name into the chat. Or if you don't know his name, but you know what he's known for, type it in the chat. Now, let me give you a clue. Any ideas? This is a younger version of him, clearly. Still anything? Okay, I'm going to give you his name. Does that ring a bell? Okay, well, let's go a little further because I'm sharing this particular individual for a particular reason. Did you know that he was arrested in 1974? Does that make a difference? Does this ring a bell? Do you know why he was arrested? What did he do? Okay, next hint. He starred, well, he was in a movie, not as himself. This young man, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, portrayed him in a movie. So his life story, or an aspect of his life story, was portrayed in a movie by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Now what? Now who? Type it in the chat. Yes, no, maybe? Yes, okay. Another hint? Okay, fine. The name of the movie was The Walk, as in like to walk the walk. Now, if this doesn't clue you in, then pretty much nothing will. So the man is known for, or one of the things he was known for, what he was arrested for was a tightrope walk across World Trade Center. So yes, Philippe Petit, French high wire artist who gained fame for his unauthorized high wire walks between the towers of Notre Dame, the cathedral in Paris in 1971, the Sydney Harbor Bridge in 1973, as well as the Twin Towers in New York City in 1974, for which he was arrested. Now, why do I share this with you? Because this is precisely what we are invited to do, to walk, to dare to be vulnerable, to dare to be unmasked, to dare to be naked, for the purpose of, as Maggie Kuhn says, to leave behind safety. See, her advice to activists, her advice to young folks who were interested in creating social change, which we can add to what the change that is required to create a world that works for all. Leave safety behind. And we understand this does not mean to run out into a street without looking both ways, but we understand that that's common sense. The safety is that comfort zone, that place where I'm all masks and I got my armor on and my defenses are up. Leave that behind. Put your body on the line. Risk. Stand before the people you fear and speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. When you least expect it, someone may actually listen to what you have to say. Well-aimed slingshots can topple giants and do your homework. In other words, face. Our invitation as 21st century New Thought Good Samaritans. Face our fears. Be willing to be vulnerable. Speak from the heart. Live our lives authentically. Walk the walk. Do the interpersonal exegesis. Do the theological exegesis. Do the whatever it is. Go beneath the surface. Do the homework. Do the research. Practice the practice. Practice principle. Learn and understand what science of mind and spirit is, truly what it is, and apply it daily. Breathe. That's how we change the world. This week's homework, journaling, whether you join the Thursday night group or not, here's your invitation. Confusion and uncertainty. What is something that you are currently puzzled or confused by? Fears and insecurities. When do you feel outshined? What scares you? When do you feel insecure? Frustrations and annoyances. What really annoys you? Who annoys you? What frustrates you? Who frustrates you? Regrets and resentments. Who or what are you invited to forgive? Hurt and pain. What is something hurtful that was said or done to you recently or a long time ago that you still hold on to? Wants and needs. What did you want and or need to hear this week or receive this week? Guilt and shame. What was the last mess that you made? Tracy, stop, because I know you're going to say the mess in the living room in front of the television. I know that's what you're going to say. That's not talking about that kind. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. When was the last, what was the last mess you made? What do you feel guilty about? And what do you feel shame about? And then lastly, hopes and dreams. What dreams inspire you? What dreams can you not let go of because the dream is holding so tenaciously to you? Breathe and practice. This week's declaration, our affirmation, I will say it first. And if you feel in agreement, feel in alignment, say it with me on our second go round. I have the courage to be vulnerable and let my light shine. Together. I have the courage to be vulnerable and to let my light shine. Yes. Now let us prepare to close in prayer. Simply anchoring in this moment, this realization that right here and right now, the source of all that is present. How could it not be? It is all there is. And so anchoring in this moment, allowing this word to be the truth, to be the absolute factual reality of what is, I let this word demonstrate what I know. I know that love is all there is. And I am willing to allow that to shine forth. I am willing to be vulnerable enough to let that shine forth. And I know that what I am saying of and for myself applies to everyone watching, for there is only one of us after all anyway. So this truth applies to everyone. In this moment right here and right now, love shines forth, compassion shines forth, wisdom shines forth, connectivity shines forth, open communication, open collaboration, open cooperation, compassionate creativity, divine right action, all shine forth. The beloved community shines forth. Breathe. And it doesn't just shine forth right here and right now as I say this. It shines forth always. It did before I incarnated, and it will forever after. It's all there is. And so I know that as this thing we call our Sunday gathering, our Sunday message, our Sunday service, when this comes to a close, the way in which we continue the walk on the tightrope of life, enjoying and partaking of all of the excitement and energy and vitality of health and well-being, prosperity and all that God is, as we continue to actively engage in the walk, practicing principle every day of the week. Even when we don't realize we're practicing, we're practicing. So I speak this knowing that I am bringing my conscious awareness more and more to the breath, more and more to my mental equivalent, my thoughts, my words, my feelings and emotions, and the ways in which I engage in active ways, more and more frequently, more and more consciously, more and more actively. I shine my light. I shine my light so powerfully, I'm not just a lamp on a lampstand. No, I'm not just a light in a lighthouse. No, I am shining greater than 1,000 suns across 1,000 galaxies and universes. I light up the night. I guide. I lead. I encourage. I invite. I walk the walk. And the law says yes. And because it says yes, I relinquish this, I surrender it, I allow it to be what it is as answered prayer. This entire thing called our Sunday talk, our Sunday service, answered prayer, because we don't simply live in answered prayer, we live as it. And so it is. Namaste. Much love, much appreciation. And I will see you here next week. Blessings. Talk to you soon.